The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Osho himself. I don't have any biography, and whatsoever is thought to be a biography is utterly meaningless. You can't define me. And what you think I am probably has more of a reflection of you rather than myself. Then he goes on to explain on what date I was born and what country I was born does not matter. So what you think I am from this country and all the biases that are associated with that is not me. And you probably will never understand me, but none of that matters. What matters is what I am now, right here, this present moment. That's all that matters. Let's get this. Thanks for being here.
I am not a philosopher, because the philosopher thinks about the truth. His approach is rational. Reason is his instrument. And here,
he's talking about reason and rationality coming from the mind, from logic. And what I think he's about to say is that he comes from a different place.
just the opposite is the case. I am an irrational man. And the people who have gathered around me, around the world they are. The appeal to them is my irrationality.
I would say that's 100% true. The reason that we admire Osho is because of his wildness, because of his irrationality. Because what we do is we get indoctrinated into human society, and then we get castrated. We cut off our balls because we don't have the courage or the guts to retain our wildness, our ability to be fully alive without being distorted by shame tactics from society. Your mother, how dare you do that? Your father, how dare you do that? And maybe there should be, of course, guiding principles that, that we want to be fundamentally well-rounded, well-versed, virtuous, capable human beings that have great empathy for their fellow man. The golden rule: treat others how you would like to be treated. I think we stay in that fundamental alignment. Everything else is great playfulness out here in the world. But the world wants to cut you off from your rationality, from your wildness, from the juice and zeal that you have, this creative, passionate place.
Because reason has failed so utterly. $3,000 in the West, 10,000 years in the East, philosophers have been struggling to find the truth.
True.
And not a single philosopher has been able to find it.
Also true.
The way of philosophy does not go to truth at all.
Okay.
It is just rational gymnastics.
Rational gymnastics. That is funny. That is a good phrase.
So one philosopher can argue against another philosopher, and they go on arguing for centuries, but they have not come on a single point in agreement. Philosophy is the worst wastage of human intelligence that is possible.
Wow.
When I say I am not a philosopher, I simply mean my approach towards reality is not through the head, it is through the heart.
Beautiful.
I compare it with love because that is the only human experience.
I think this is really interesting because it aligns with a great book that has a lot of spiritual teachers that read it and pontificate it, especially the spiritual gurus here in American culture. It's called A Course in Miracles. And what it essentially alludes to is that love is the only real thing. Everything else is illusion because God is the only reality. Again, it is focused on an external God, but God is the only reality. You are the Son. The Son and the Father are one. And so essentially anything that is outside of love is an illusion. It's not real and it's not a part of God. And so it helps fundamentally define why chaos can happen out here, but how it's not also attached to the God figure or whatever word you want to use in replacement for God. In fact, I have some really cool cue cards here that I have written down from. Oh no, work. Sorry, guys. I'll just read one to you. You are free to believe what you choose. What you do attests to what you believe. So if we believe that we are fully autonomous in this world and we have the freedom and the ease to do what we want, as long as we abide by the golden rule, you have this carefree nature, and that will allow you a freedom to do what you choose. But if you're false guided by limited beliefs about yourself and your inherent nature and being this fully powerful, alive human being, and you think you're this segregated, separate self, this pawn in reality that has no meaning whatsoever, your choices will follow that as well. Miracles need freedom from fear. The only way to produce miracles in reality is to be completely and utterly detached from fear. That's how miracles are orchestrated and created. The power to work miracles belongs to you. I will arrange the right opportunities for you to do them. So you have to align and arrange yourself, and the higher consciousness or the God figure will help align the miracles within your reality. You are the work of God, and his work is wholly lovable and wholly loving. That's his work. This is how you must think of yourself. You must think of yourself in this same way, that you are wholly lovable and wholly loving, and that's all God's work. This is how you must think of yourself in your heart, because this is what you are. We have to have a higher degree of self-worth that is boiling from within, where you do not question your sacredness here, your divine power, your birthright to exist in a free world, free from fear. Nothing is gained by frightening yourself, and it's very destructive. How many of us live in being and becoming frightened? This is why I love the Course in Miracles. Anyway, this reminds me a little bit of that philosophy that everything but love is illusion.
That comes a little close to the experience of truth.
Love.
The only difference is that in love you need somebody else. At least two is a basic necessity. Whom you are going to love? Who is going to respond to you? So love is a dialogue. A religion is a monologue. You don't have anybody there, God, some Messiah, some prophet. There is no one with whom you can have a dialogue. You, in utter silence, feel it. It is simply a state of mind at rest, and the heart throbbing in a deep harmony with existence.
Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I think the distinctions between monologue and dialogue is when you're communicating, conversing with God, despite what I think people think, God doesn't necessarily talk right back for you. I feel like we have intuition, and we have, an ability to innately know and have a communion with our spiritual, with that spiritual umbilical cord, that direct connection to God. But a dialogue is more of instead of worshiping something outside of yourself, a dialogue is that you're supposed to be a life is supposed to be interacted with in a moment-to-moment basis. That it's not all about trying to find a divine connection out there, but making the divine here, within your own presence, within your own vortex of reality. This dialogue between intersectional communities, that you're bridging the divinity within you in the divinity within them, and you're creating a connection, a sacred connection that we're all bounded to, that we really are a symbiotic species, a collective organism that is attached and tethered to each person, that is then attached and tethered to something bigger than us, that we all know in our greatest moments of silence, in our greatest moments of peace, there's something there. And it's a very beautiful thing. Thank you so much for taking a moment to interpret and understand Osho's complexity. I love that he doesn't stamp himself as a philosopher, and that he really shows that he's undefinable, just like life. Life is completely undefinable. We can all point to different things and think it's truth, but it's so much more vast than any one man can comprehend. And we try to use words to talk about things that are wordless. It's a very beautiful thing. It's all poetic. And that's why we enjoy it so much. If you like this, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. Welcome to the community, and I'll definitely catch you guys on the next video. Thank you so much for taking the time to check me out. Talk soon. Bye-bye.